What's going on, Cowboys fans? It's your boy Foots here. Hey. Got a big, cool, awesome video for you guys today. Obviously, you guys know that the Combine is literally right around the corner, literally like 2 days away. And I've been watching film. I'm probably to about the 4th round on all these guys. And what I've been doing is taking my time. So you guys haven't been seeing me, make a lot of videos with a lot of content, Cowboys related, because for me, draft time is my time of year when I'm really getting caught up. I'm really wanting to know about these guys. Senior Bowl, Combine, the whole draft process. Took a lot of notes today. And I love, it's funny, I love I got to show y'all these things. I love doing videos on the phone. I could pull my camera out, but the phone is just kind of authentic. Just turn it on, record, press record, and go. And I do have 5 prospects for you guys that you need to watch. But before I get to those 5 prospects, a few housekeeping things. It's important to remember what the Combine is. And a couple notes and a couple nuggets. They're doing new drills at the Combine. It's going to be 357 prospects. I believe I got that number right. 357 prospects being invited to the Combine. New drills. It's in prime time, so it's starting at 4 o'clock. It's this is what the NFL has become. It was once a time where it was like in the middle of the day, you were lucky if you could sneak off and catch these guys running around. That's not the case anymore. Prime time, 4 o'clock, until some of these drills and some of this work may be going on until 11 o'clock. Right now, the headlining deal right now is, okay, everybody's talking about what? Joe Burrow's hand size. So that's just where we are. You see reporters, you see all these publications talking about the draft, all these prospects. Everybody's getting super covered. What I have been doing is making sure that I'm watching film with a keen eye and making sure that this is what good evaluators do. Film trumps all. Film over everything. But what can happen is, and that's what this watch list is for, you can have a Combine performance that blows you away, and now a prospect can either ascend or descend. Think about guys like Christian Kirk, look great at the Combine. Think about guys like John Ross, look great at the Combine. Turn around, they're really not great football players. But then you look at a guy like Byron Jones, who did great at the Combine. Early on, wasn't used correctly, and that's another thing. Teams having a plan. This Cowboys team, this is exciting for me because I really don't know what to expect. I've did a couple videos, and there's a couple videos floating around about Mike McCarthy and his draft history, but we don't know what to expect. But you think about a guy like a Byron Jones who, listen, he took the Combine and knocked it off the park, and now he is, for my money, a player that the Cowboys honestly need to keep. I know he doesn't turn the ball over, but he's a great corner that it's harder to replace corners than it is receivers, and I'll get into some of that talk. But that's what the Combine is, kind of putting stopwatch. But for me, with some of these guys on this watch list, it's going to be all about movement. The league is played in space. Offensive coordinators' jobs are to get their good on your not so good, so you need to have good on the field. I heard Stephen Jones talk today, and what's being told is, this is rumor season, guys. So what's being talked about is obviously, Dallas is defense. Don't believe any of it. Henry Ruggs goes out there and runs a 4.2, and he's sitting there at 17. Okay, so, and I don't want to give too much away about the video, but this is rumor season. They can say anything. Also, don't get into the whole, well, this is just me, who they met with. All that could be smoke screens to throw people off. One thing about the Cowboys is whoever the Cowboys like, teams tend to jump and take them, i.e. Ryan Shazier of Pittsburgh. I'm sure Atlanta may do the same thing like they did with Takk McKinley. So that's just certain things to think about. So without further ado, here goes some honorable mentions. These aren't the 5 that I really want to talk about, but here goes some honorable mentions. Xavier McKinney, Bama. Brice Hall, Stanford. Ashton Davis, Cal. Marlon Davidson, Auburn. AJ Epinesa, Iowa. Gator grows tomatoes. He's new on my really pet cat list, more or less. I got a buddy who plays at Penn State. His name's Rasheed Walker. He's a starting left tackle. He's going to be an NFL prospect soon. and he practiced against him. He's played against Chase, and he's told me that Gross Matos has a higher motor than Chase Young. And watching film, it's not hard to see that now. He doesn't have the size, speed, the measurable. But, you know, it's a real thing. And then obviously Cole Kmet, tight end, Notre Dame. You guys let me know your watch list as well. But these are some of the guys that I'm watching. And guys, this whole, it just kills me when you hear, you hear evaluators. Chase Young is the best defensive end I've ever evaluated. And 2 years ago, Saquon Barkley was the best running back that teams have ever evaluated. And this is the best, and this player is Des Bryant. Guys, do the homework. Make the decision for yourself. They don't tell you that Saquon Barkley is injury prone. They don't tell you, that I got a buddy who, again, Rasheed Walker played against Chase Young. His power is not there. Okay, so in the run game, don't be surprised. Now, he can bend. The athleticism is there. That's no question. But I got to see a player who plays the run. You got to play the run first in this league. This isn't, you're not going to be playing Indiana every week. So, again, just some things to keep in mind while going through this process. Those are my honorable mentions. Want to see how those guys move, run. I'm a little disappointed that Grant Delpit, I'm hearing, isn't going to work out. I didn't like that part of things. But we're 6 minutes in, and I haven't even got to my first prospect. So, let's go. Getting back in the swing of things. Henry Ruggs. If he goes to his combine and blows things up, a couple things are going to happen. Teams are going to go back to the drawing board and make it make sense because everybody loves, needs, and goes crazy over speed, as do I. Hey, the Cowboys haven't had a take the top off of defense probably since Rocket Ishmael. Just a player who can just run, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's no coverage you have for it, and it's just special speed, and that's what this guy has. But the funny thing about Henry Ruggs, and I said this early on in the process, he's actually a really good receiver. Like, he's not a better route runner than Jerry Jeudy, but I could see a situation, and don't laugh at me, where he jumps Jerry Jeudy just because that speed, and teams are going to cut on tape and say, oh, we can do this. And think about how the league is played. You just watched the Kansas City team that with Tyreek Hill, no matter what defense San Francisco, which they played good defense in the Super Bowl, but it was just that one play where he snuck behind the defense and it kind of popped that game back open and kind of gave them a chance. So teams, this is a copycat league. Getting fast guys on the field will always be attractive to general managers or front offices. If Henry Ruggs blows this thing up, trust and believe, he's a guy who will be in consideration if he makes it to 17. I don't care what anybody says. It's the facts. We don't know what's going to happen with Amari Cooper, so keep that in mind. Kayvon Chasen, number 2. For me, you guys are going to be impressed with how much better he looks than every other end in this combine. Not only that, he can do more than every other end in this combine, and that's what I'm excited about. Now, don't look at the production. Think about using him outside the box. A guy who, you can use him on some twist stunts. You can use him in coverage, okay? But he can get that edge. And he's not, I always hear Barkevius Mingo and some of these other LSU DNs that didn't pan out. He's not those guys. Be original in your thoughts. He's a really good football player. He's a really aggressive football player, and he played in a championship defense. Kayvon Chasen, if he goes out here and blows this, if he blows this combine up and you see the hip turn, you want to see hips. You want to see guys that can run. If you see that, guys, trust me, okay? Brice Hopkins now moving on into second, third round, fourth round type guys that they're sitting there. I really love Purdue tight end Brice Hopkins. I just don't know what it is about him. He's smooth. I know people may think he's not a great blocker, but he's not a bad blocker. Like, when I think of some of these Cowboys tight ends, they're just okay. All right, Jason Witten's not coming back. Please, I pray that Jason Witten's not coming back. And they're just okay, guys. And I want a guy who can catch, make plays, turn, run. That's what I see in Brice Hopkins. He just has an it that I like, all right? He just has an it that I like. This is a player that helps Dak immediately because he knows how to get open on a bad team in Purdue, but he just knows how to get open. He just has a smoothness about him that I like. The game is played in the middle of the field. You want to get as many guys in the middle of the field as you can that can help you out. And listen, like with Henry Ruggs, like with a guy like Brice Hopkins, people may say, well, why are you going offense for Zula? Guys, my plan for this team is let's put the ball back in Ezekiel Elliott's hands and let's just get a guy that can help Dak out. Okay, but that's consistent. I like Jarwin. He's just not tough to me. He's just okay. I just don't know how good Blake Jarwin really is. I think that Brice Hopkins has a higher ceiling, and if he's there staring you in the 4th round, I think he's better than some of the guys that you have on this roster. I really think you do. I think he is. Steph Gladney now, depending on what happens with Byron Jones, if he's sitting there in a second, you may have to consider it. All of a sudden, this cornerback room looks goofy without Byron Jones. That kind of becomes a priority. This Gladney, I'm hearing that he's going to run a 4-3. He's so twitchy now. He's a little on the smaller side, but he can run. Hips are good. Plays press. You know, can play off. Has a great 2-combo jam. Jam, turn, run. He knows how to stay square. He's feisty. TCU corner Jeff Gladney is somebody that I just want you guys to watch. See how he runs. See how he turns. And he's feisty. 6 feet. Not huge, but not small. Not big. You know, probably about 185, 190 at best. But I just think he's a feisty player. And I've come to really like him. This cornerback class isn't great. It's okay. But let's see how he tests. And then one of my favorites, out of nowhere, watching this guy, man. This Zach Bond, Wisconsin stand-up backer who can drop in coverage, who can turn and run. He's really like a baby TJ Watt, and I like guys that come from that Wisconsin program. Wisconsin, Iowa, you're going to get tough football players. AJ Epinesa, Worth. You're going to get guys who come into the league and they're tough and they're physical right away. Zach Bond is that. I like this kid, y'all. I do. Depending on what Nolan wants to do with some 3-4 things, he fits that mold. Now, where you drafting him? Got to figure that out. But, I think he can play middle backer. I think he's really like an Anthony Barr type. So, it'll be just versatile. That's what he kind of gives me. So, it'll be interesting to see how he runs. I want to see how he runs. I want to see how fast he is. So you have these stopwatch positions: corner, receiver, quarterback in some cases, backer in some cases. But then the drill work, I want to see how fluent these guys can open up and get to their spot, come to balance, come back and do it again, and they don't look goofy, because those are going to be the guys who can carry those backs out of the backfield. They can play in coverage, they can play in space and make plays. That's what we need. Defense, cool. I'm with it. Let's just draft the right players. This your boy, Foots the King. I'll be with you guys after the combine to see who won it, who kind of makes sense for the Cowboys in that sense. But this is my watch list. You guys let me know what you think. Put some time into this thing. And you guys give me your watch list, who you want to see the Cowboys take a look at, or who stood out to you that makes sense for Dallas. This your boy, Foots the King, as always. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Hey, just do it like Nike. Free promo, I guess.